this is Marika, and today we are here to discuss on methods to overcome barriers in interpersonal relationship. In our previous sessions, we have seen what is interpersonal relationship, right? And how it develops between a nurse and a patient. What are the different phases of interpersonal relationship? And then we've seen what are the barriers of interpersonal relationship. Today, we are going to see what are the methods to overcome those barriers. There are several steps involved in overcoming the barriers that is seen in an interpersonal relationship. So we will see step by step what are the different ways to overcome those barriers. The first step or step one includes admitting that you have a problem. So in the first step, we have to understand or we have to admit that we have a problem that is going on in our relationship. Admitting that there is a problem between two individuals or in maintaining the relationship is the first step in overcoming the barrier. Now, once you have admitted that you have a problem, what to do next, right? You have to list down all the symptoms that you see in your relationship, okay? Once you've written down all the symptoms in the relationship, you have to write down the problem. Okay. For example, if there is trust issue in a relationship, right? You have to admit, first thing is you have to admit that you have a problem, right? You've admitted that there is some problem going on in my relationship, right? The second step includes listing down all the symptoms. For example, as I said, trust issues, right? So what are the symptoms that you see? Must be listed out. For example, it may be lying or avoiding each other. Okay, so these are the symptoms that are listed down. And in the third step, you have to write down the problem. So because of this symptoms, this is the problem that we are having. Trust issue is the problem that we are having. Okay, so in the first step, it includes admitting that you have a problem, right? And then listing down all the symptoms that you see in your relationship and writing down the actual problem. Okay, the next one is step 2. So what do we have to do in the next step? We have found out a problem, right? We have seen that there are some we have admitted that there are some problems and we have found out the problem in the relationship, right? Now in step 2, what do we have to do is we have to find out the barriers that are present in our relationship. Okay, we have a problem and what is the barrier that is present in our relationship? Now, once you find out what are the barriers that are present in your relationship, you have to list down all the barriers that are present in your relationship. So, in the third step, we have already listed down the symptoms, the problem, and the barriers that is seen in our relationship, right? So, here in the third step, once it is listed down, the person has to share that list with their partner. The person has to share it with their partner. And ask your partner to go through the description that is written by you, right? So there are two people involved in relationship. So till now in the first and second step, it was just one single individual who was just who admitted that they have a problem. They listed down the symptoms and they wrote what the actual problem is, right? In the step 2, the same person listed out the barriers that they find in their relationship. And those barriers are also listed down. So in the third step, you will be sharing those with your partner. Okay, and you'll ask your partner to read your description about the problem, the symptoms, and the barriers. Moving on to the step 4. So now here it was only one partner being involved. In the third step, the other partner has also read your description. Now in the fourth step, you are going to ask your partner to give a response to what you have written. Okay, and since now you have 2 responses, you are also going to compare the responses given by you and your partner. Okay, now there are 2 things that can happen, right? Either you both have the similar response or there might be some differences. So here you also have to list down the points on which you agree as well as disagree. So till here, we've already found out about the symptoms that are present in our relationship. So what problem the symptoms are causing and what are the barriers that we are facing in our relationship, right? So in the 5th step, both the partners will sit together and develop a plan of action to address those barriers. Now, there can be several barriers or there can be several problems in a relationship. Both the partners should only take one problem or one barrier at a time, okay? Now here you have to look for whom is the barrier more active. Okay, there are 2 partners involved in a relationship, right? When there are 2 partners, for whom is this barrier more concerning or who shows the more barrier in the relationship? The first question. So here you have to look if the barrier is actually present and actually blocking your interpersonal relationship, or is it just a irrational belief of one of the partner. Now, if you find out that it is just an irrational belief, you have to see if that irrational belief of the partner could be changed. Okay? The next question is, can the party with the barrier, from the two partner, it is one partner who has the barrier more actively, right? So if it is like that, whether this party, the party who has the barrier, will be able to handle it on its own with assistance of the other partner, or is the help from outside required? Okay. Next question in the fifth step includes, how long will it take for both of you to overcome this barrier? Yes, there is a barrier, right? And it requires a certain period of time to overcome that barrier. So how long will it take for the partners to overcome that barrier? The next question is, what behavior can each of the partner develop in order to overcome this barrier? So when you have a problem in a relationship, it could be because of certain behavior, right? Certain symptom of one of the partner. You might have to develop a certain behavior to help your partner in order to overcome that barrier in your relationship, right? So you have to see what behavior can both the partners develop in order to make sure that the barrier is overcome. The next question to be addressed by the partner is, how will you come to know if you are successful in overcoming those barriers? So there are two partners involved here, right? So both of them are addressing the barriers, right? So now how will they come to know? How will you come to know that you and your partner have overcome this barrier? How will the partners come to know that they have been successful in overcoming this barrier? Okay. The next question to be addressed in step 5 is, what preventive actions can you take to ensure that these barriers are no longer present in your relationship or are affecting your relationship? So what preventive actions can you take to make sure further these barriers are not affecting your relationship? Obviously, you have to take certain preventive actions, right, in order to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Once you've understood that there is a problem, once you have understood that there is a barrier in our relationship, you obviously have to take some action in order to make sure that further we will not have this barrier in our relationship. So what preventive actions can we take in order to make sure that this barriers does not arise again? Okay, that also needs to be planned together. And now, what replacement behavior is needed to ensure that this barriers does not reoccur? So here we also have to understand that what are the replacement behavior, what behaviors can we develop in order to make sure that this does not develop further. Okay, so in the fifth step, both the partners have to sit and develop a plan of action, taking one barrier at a time. So there are several questions that the partners have to go through and develop a plan of action according to that, right? For example, for whom is the barrier more active? Or how do we know the success rate after we overcome this barrier, right? Do we need help from other people in order to overcome this barrier? How long will it take us to overcome these barriers? And what can we do in order to make sure that this barrier will not be seen further in our relationship? Okay. In the sixth step, answers to all the 9 questions that were asked in the fifth step must be given by both the partners. So in the fifth stage, we have seen several different questions. Those questions are to be addressed one by one, right? So in the sixth step, all the answers to the questions asked in the fifth step must be given by both the partners, okay? By the end of this sixth step, you will have a completely developed plan of action to overcome the barrier in your relationship. Now you must think these are just set of questions given, right? Why? Because all these questions answers will be different for different types of relationship. The barrier that I face with my partner is not necessary to be same that the other person faces in their relationship. So that is why these are the questions that are listed in the fifth step, and in the sixth step all the answers must be given by partners sitting together so that for their relationship specifically they develop a plan of action properly. So if over a period of time, these barriers are still present in the relationship, these partners can return to step 1 and restart all the stages. Okay, so to conclude, today we have seen what are the methods to overcome the barriers. There are a total of 6 steps in methods to overcome the barriers. So in the first step, we have to admit that we have a problem, right? It is one of the partner who's involved in this step. the person admits that there is a problem in a relationship, right? So here they will list down all the symptoms that are present in their relationship. And the third part, they will write down the problems that they are facing. This all are involved under the first step. In the second step, the person will also list down the barriers in their relationship. In the third step, once the symptom, barrier, and the problem is known, or the person shares the list with their partner. Okay, the partner also gives certain responses, and you have to compare the responses that is given by you and your partner. In the fifth step, both of the partner will develop a plan of action according to the barriers and problems that they have found in their relationship. And in the sixth step, all the questions asked in the fifth step must be answered by both the partners. By the end of sixth step, a complete plan of action will be developed in order to overcome the barriers. And if over a period of time the barriers still exist, then both the partners can return to step one and begin the process again. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you all in the next session where we will be discussing about Johari window. Thank you.